Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Universe card. This card is everything. This card is the lifting of boundaries, the clearing away of obstacles, the easing of restrictions on your life and on your movement and on your progress and on your spirit, right? This card is the entire universe, I feel as if you are, you're expanding your universe, you're building your world. This card has a lot of possibilities. This card may see that things have been they've been stalled for a while, right? I feel like you've been kind of waiting and waiting and waiting for things. It's something has been taking a long time to develop. I feel like it's here now. I feel like things are crystallizing for you in your path, and that feels very beautiful. I feel like you are divinely protected. I feel like this is a magical circle of protection that extends infinitely outward. I feel like Spirit is kind of clearing away a lot of negative things in your life, clearing out all of the negative sort of energy, negative vibrations. Let's see where this is going. Let's use the Dove and Serpent spread for a little bit of context. We've got a Knight of Wands. Okay, there's this surge of energy coming. Okay, maybe this is kind of an unexpected impulse. I kind of feel like the horse is just kind of carrying you away somewhere. I feel like this is maybe a rush. Maybe we have been kind of waiting, kind of floating here, waiting for things to crystallize, waiting for things to happen, and then bam. Like Emerald Lagasse, right? Just bam, there it is. That fire, that movement. Suddenly things are happening very, very quickly. There's the tower underneath. It's like a rocket ship. You're ascending like a rocket ship right now. You got a 7 of Swords in the background. Oof, you got more fire energy right there. This is a pillar of fire. This is literally like a rocket ship. Okay? You got this fiery tower. You got the Knight of Wands. You've got the Lust or Strength card. And in the future position, 3 of Pentacles. It's working, right? It is, things are crystallizing, things are happening, and you got to get to work. It's time now. This might be an unexpected kind of turn or an unexpected shift. Here we have a Knight of Cups, a 9 of Wands, the 8 of Swords, also in the position of what we don't want. So don't worry about this card, but pay attention. Let's not let that become an issue. We have a 5 of Swords. So we need to think. We need to ask questions, but we don't want to get locked up in that question and answer kind of thing, because the research, right, is never going to end, and we're never going to get to the actual movement. Don't get trapped in the snare of thought. Well, we've got to use our minds, of course. Okay. This is a pillar of fire. And with this Leo energy up here, I feel like it's time for you to claim your crown. Like, I feel like you've been waiting for something for a long time. It's here. Don't hesitate. Maybe it's an opportunity at work. Maybe it's like that position that you've always kind of wanted. You've always had your eye on it. Maybe suddenly now it's open. By a miracle, that position's open. Take it. Go after it right now. Don't hesitate. Don't think about it. Just go. We can think about it later. That's what we have here with the Knight of Wands. Action. Not hesitating. There's no room here. It's fire on fire. There's no room for thinking. It's saying the doorway's here. Take that doorway. We'll think about it later. Okay, we'll ask for permission or forgiveness later. We're not going to do it now. Okay, Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We set it down over here with Dwight K. Schrute right on top. Now, if my voice feels a little gravelly today, or sounds a little gravelly, it feels that way to me, it's because I am trying to taper myself off of caffeine. Yeah. So bear with me, okay? I've been trying to minimize that. I'm kind of going more the herbal tea route than the black tea route. So today I've just got some water. But anyway, if you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments down below, okay? As we look around the room, we see the good major arcana. I mean, this is, boom, this is great. A central pillar. A rising, a grand rising of your fire energy, your rocket boosters into the universe, and you're gonna achieve whatever this is. Okay, I'm kind of using the example of, you see that opportunity at work, that door opens, you got to dart in that door before it shuts again. Okay, feel like you've been waiting for something for a long time. The wait is over. Claim your crown. And this might be catching you off guard. It's kind of like you've already resigned yourself to just kind of floating out here like a cork on the ocean. Like, I guess nothing's happening. I guess this isn't going to ever work. I guess it's never going to, like that position's never going to open. They're never going to call me, whatever, right? And so we've kind of gotten used to this. We're just drifting out at sea. And we just think, well, this is my life now. Suddenly, the opportunity is there and you're being called to action. Like this, we can't hesitate. We've got to get up and get moving. You got to go from 0 to 60 in the snap of a finger, okay? And, I think you're going to do that, and I think it's going to be glorious for you. So we have our majors anyway. We've got the Tower, the Universe, and the Lust or Strength card at the top, right? That Leo, that lion, that crowning energy up here of capability, of confidence, of like just the magic. Like this looks like somebody who is just in control of their fire energy and is living that. It's like that new position, and you've taken the opportunity. You've darted through the doorway. You've claimed your crown there, and this is the passion that results from that. This is that confidence, that pride, that feeling of I can do it. I did it. Look at me. Like I can't believe this is happening. And that really is that's such a powerful feeling. It's magic. It's you realizing that you are capable of performing magic, of manifesting, of doing the thing. Yeah. Anyway, then we have, of course, we have fire, a little bit of water over here. And then, of course, we have our air, and air, and a little bit of earth. The earth doesn't really matter. I don't know. It's kind of the earth is always like the afterthought. It's just the pendant on the tree of life. It's just the scaffolding, right? It's just the kind of external appearance of something. But it's basically saying you're going to have to do the work. You're going to claim this crown, but then you gotta be the royalty. You got to be the emperor, let's say. You've got to do the work that the crown requires. Okay. So it doesn't matter what this is. What matters is that you realize that it's going to be hard work going forward. But this is what we wanted. Okay, we've been waiting for this. Yeah. The seven of Swords in the background. Let's start with this because I feel like there was a time where you were very critical with yourself. This is some energy that we put behind us where we were doubting, we weren't trusting, we maybe weren't trusting the universe. We may have been saying with the universe, right, the world card that we have right here, we may have been at one point saying, okay, I don't trust that this is ever going to happen. Okay? I think what you did is you replaced this. You replaced this doubt and this mistrust with kind of acceptance, with realizing that things are going to happen when they happen, and you've got to sit tight and you've got to continue to, do the good work that you're doing, and the doors will open for you. Okay, so we kind of got comfortable. We got patient, right? Okay, and I think the negative self-talk that we see with the Seven of Swords, this kind of talk like I can't do it, with kind of saying like I'm trying and I'm going to continue doing the work. I'm going to continue trying until something clicks, until the tumbler falls in place and all the lock opens and whatever, right? Because this is, I think. This is launching you into a new universe. Okay. So the Seven of Swords is that doubt. It is that, kind of a lack of confidence. It is that internal dialogue. Okay. And this is the recent past. So I feel like it almost works that way. Like as soon as we kind of stop this criticism and we just kind of accept the situation as it is, we accept reality as we find it, something clicks. It's like that's what the universe was waiting for. You to stop beating yourself up about something. It's kind of like waiting for us not to be involved in like the self-pity or the overthinking or the over-analysis. It's just kind of observing, waiting and observing and being ready so that when the opportunity appears, we can launch ourselves through it. It's very, very Taoist, very, very Eastern, very art of war kind of stuff, right? We're just kind of waiting and we're preparing, we're watching, we're looking, we're getting ready to do it. And as soon as that door opens, you're taking advantage of it, okay? Sometimes the Seven of Swords is a card of distraction. That if we're so distracted by our own thoughts up here, we're not going to see the door. We're not going to see the synchronicity. We're not going to see the green light from Spirit because we're so wrapped up in our thoughts, okay? It may be that you're somebody who experienced a lot of haters, a lot of naysayers in your life. Sometimes we have this Ace of Swords in the middle, and that's our truth. That's our belief. This is what I feel is real and right and true. And I'm going to stay true to who I am and what I believe and what is meant for me, even when there's this opposition coming in. So it could be outside opposition, but also the internal resistance too. Okay, and that resistance is self-doubt, it's the criticism, it is the way we speak to ourselves. Okay, and you put this behind you, let's not go back. Okay, especially with the 8. Let's not go back, because if we go back, we really truly are lost. Especially once this opportunity appears, and we're going to go through this kind of a doorway. Yeah. And we're going to be required to act. The Knight of Wands is, like I said, fire on fire. This is the opportunity, and we respond, we launch ourselves into it without any kind of thought. There's no hesitation. You're taking this big leap, and we don't have time to kind of skid to a stop and say, well, wait a minute, do I want to do it? What happens if I fail? What happens if it doesn't work? What happens if they reject me? What happens if they say no? We've got to just go forward. The time for thinking is going to be later. Later on, we can justify this move, but what we do is we act first. And then later on, we ask the questions, did it work? Was it worth it? What are the results? We can evaluate our choice. We can evaluate our behavior after the fact. Okay? We're not going to know what happens here until we take the risk, in a way. Okay? Now, underneath the surface, you got this Tower event. Spontaneous change. This is it really is a turning point in your life. And it may be a kind of an unexpected turn, but I think it's unexpected in the sense that once we stop obsessing over it and we stop kind of worrying about it, we stop overthinking it, we stop questioning it and doubting it and mistrusting things, that's when it's going to happen. As soon as we sort of forget about it, that's when Spirit's going to say, here you go, right? And so this is an exclamation point in life. This is a moment in your life where you're gonna tell, this is the story you're going to tell your kids, grandkids, and your friends' kids. This is going to be like, it's something you'll never forget. This is one of those moments of intense novelty in our lives. We all have them in our lives, some people more than others, more often. These are those moments that we will never forget in our lives. Sometimes they're not so good. Sometimes they're very, very good. Hindsight, right, will tell us. So we're not worried about it in the moment. We're saying this is happening. I'm responding to it in a very energetic and active, positive kind of way, a creative, responsible but powerful, magical way. And later on, I'll be able to debrief and think about what it was and how it went down and like what the benefits were. We may not understand all of the benefits until later anyway. But these are those moments of novelty that stand out in our lives from childhood up till now. that we recognize as that was a moment my life changed. That was a tower moment. And towers look scary, right? They shake us to our foundation. This is the moment your life changes. Well, of course, it's going to be a little scary. And a tower is always a scary thing. Usually, after we respond to the tower and we kind of, we engage with the situation on this vertical pillar, right? And then things start falling into place and it becomes kind of routine. We start having a system in place and we're doing the work. Then we can have that hindsight. Then we can do the retrospective on it and say, let's talk about what this was, because that was crazy, right? That was unexpected. But wow, that's kind of like, and I think that we see this in our everyday lives. When you're with your friends and you're doing something that's really powerful and really kind of urgent and spontaneous, that just requires our engagement. You're doing the whitewater rafting with your friends and you're just in the moment. You're just doing the thing. Then at the end, when you're safely on shore, you're like, oh my gosh, did you guys, that was crazy, right? What'd you guys think of that? What was your perspective? What was your experience? We talk about it after. You play that crazy game of baseball when you're a kid, and it's just a whirlwind of activity. You don't have time to really think about things or think about how you feel, but later on you'll get together with your buddies and we used to go for ice cream after our baseball games. We'd say, wasn't that cool when I did this, you did that, and I fell down this way and the ball went that way. And it's then we kind of we recap it. Anyway, I feel like that's kind of why we have this air energy toward the end here. Yeah. You have little succulents. You plant little, you have little cacti or something, or some kind of plants that you have in these little white planters, like ceramic kind of thing. Yeah. I feel like you have them in your bathroom on the windowsill or something like this. I feel like there's a window right there. Yeah. I don't know why that image is coming to me, but I like it. It's kind of a peacefulness. Yeah, it's a peacefulness. And then it almost feels like we're about to just kind of, it feels to me like we were waiting for something, waiting. And we finally say, you know what? They're not coming over. I'm just going to get in the bath and start winding down for the night. And then as soon as we immerse ourselves in the hot bath, knock on the door. There's spirit saying, hey, guess what? Your opportunity is here. And it never fails. As soon as you say, well, you know what? They're not going to call. I'm just going to go to bed. As soon as we hit our head on the pillow, they call. Okay? And I feel like that's kind of the way things work. And it's uncanny sometimes how we can almost do that intentionally. We'll say, you know what? I really wanted this phone call. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to do something else because they're not going to call. And then as soon as it is the most inconvenient for us, they're surprise, right? The phone's ringing. And those are those, and I'm sure we all have those kind of stories, right? Because those are moments where our lives really do change, okay? Up above the surface, you have that crown of this passion card, the lust or strength card, okay? And I feel that this is really confidence in you. It's your ability to control the horse. The horse and the rider have to be one unit. They have to trust each other, right? There's no thinking. There can be no mistrust. There can be no doubts. There can be no questions right now. It's just like we are one unit and we're flowing together. This is your ability to, this is kind of like, it's almost at a higher octave, right? It looks like similar cards, but a higher octave. And I think that this is your stature. You feel like a very powerful force in life right now. You feel like a beast, right? You feel like you are wearing the crown and you are inspiring awe in other people. Whatever you're doing, people are going to be like, oh my God, like MVP type stuff. You're really going to be like the MVP here. And you've got the crown and it feels as if you can reach up into the night sky and pluck out your star and put it in your pocket. It feels like you have that kind of stature. Yeah. And I think right now you're going to feel like you're on top of the world. You're going to feel as if this is the world and you are on top of it, like literally. I think your passion is really going to lead your path right now. Okay, this is going to feel like a strength. It's going to feel like capability. We need discipline and self-control. That's part of this card, especially when you put it towards this, saying, hey, if we're going to make this thing last, I mean, this is a pretty cool moment, but if we're going to make this grow and we're going to develop this into something extraordinary, we have to have that kind of discipline, and we have to keep going with the work. Okay? And that's what the Three of Pentacles is. Literally, it's work. It's the work, and it's the result of your work. It's the activity itself and the product of your focus and your efforts. Okay? This is you understanding the process of creation on the physical plane. You know the blood, sweat, and tears. You have things in a proper alignment, okay, in order to do the work and make things happen. So what you're going to have to do moving forward is organize things, know the right ratio of energies, the right kind of strength, but the right kind of like yielding, you know, the right kind of, kind of burning like fire, but then also kind of flowing like water. You're going to have to know the right, the right amount of force to put into the different things. It's like you're going to be spinning a bunch of plates. And you got to attend to each plate to keep them spinning. If you neglect one, it's going to start to wobble and fall. So you're going to really have to stay organized and stay focused and stay energetic. It's going to be a lot of work moving forward, but kind of this is what we've been waiting for. This now, like everything is rolling. We don't have a lot of time to think about it. We got to pay attention to what's going on, and we got to do that hard work. All right. Now, on the path of the serpent, we see more of this kind of passion. It's a Knight of Cups. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are free. The Knight of Cups is kind of looking at the future and thinking, what does my future feel like? Okay. And basically, the Knight of Cups is looking forward into the future and seeing a 10 of Cups. What is the feeling tone of my life? What do I want it to feel like? What is the emotional life I'm trying to create? Okay? And so we're trying to, we don't really know the details. We don't know the color of the wallpaper or the furniture in the room, but we know what we want it to feel like in there. Okay? The details, well, we'll figure those out later, but we want to know, like, what's going to really be satisfying? What type of connections do I want? What kind of vibe am I creating for my life? Because that's going to be motivating us. That's the vision we are going to keep in our mind's eye. Okay? It's not a materialistic thing. It's not just how much money am I going to make, or like how many people are going to work in the building, or things like that. It's what is it going to feel like? What kind of a culture am I cultivating? Right? What do I really love? What is in my heart? This card is about the giving and receiving of love and affection. It is about kind of the creation of culture. Yeah. It's how we're nurturing. We have this vision of like a finished cultural product, and we're trying to say, okay, how do I get there? How do I create this thing the way I really want it to feel? Not the way it's going to look, but how it's going to feel. Okay, what's the vibe here? Like you're starting a business, and you're thinking, okay, well, what do I want the vibe of the company? What do I want the corporate culture, so to speak? What do I want that to be? The vibe of the family, the vibe of your friend group, the vibe, whatever this is for you, the vibe of your life. What is your 10 of Cups? What does satisfaction, fulfillment, meaning, and purpose? What does being fully filled up mean to you? What does it feel like? And then we can reverse engineer that, and we know how we have to express our heart in order to get that to happen, right? This is someone who is kind and giving and generous. Okay, so I feel as if with this one, it kind of looks like you are receiving from the universe, that you're sort of taking something out of the ether, right? You're manifesting something. I feel like this is you kind of giving something back. Does that make sense? And so I feel like you are a very kind and very generous person, especially emotionally. I feel like people rely on you. People, they like to lean on you. They cry on your shoulder even. People can feel your compassion and your empathy. You really have this, I feel like your life has a culture of love, of openness, of honesty. And really of like, this card to me reminds me of like random acts of kindness. You're somebody that's going to like, you're at the drive-thru or whatever, and you're going to pay for the person behind you just because, and you're going to speed away before they can chase you down and say thank you, right? Because it's just how you are. You're going to hold the door for people. You're going to help somebody carry their groceries to the car if they're struggling, you know. You're just a kind person, you know, very kind person. And I think that this is creating in your life a culture that is inclusive and loving and friendly and supportive, and it's going to be very, very fulfilling for you. Okay. Now we got a 9 of Wands in the environment in your relationships. Okay. You have a strength. People know you as somebody who keeps their word. I think that somebody is going to be asking you for a favor, and you're not going to want to do it necessarily. I mean, it's going to be, let's say, inconvenient, right? But you're going to do it, and because you have a commitment to your friends or family or coworkers or whoever it's going to be. I kind of feel like it's going to be an older male energy that's going to really need something from you. Maybe it's a family member, and you're going to give your word and you're going to stick with it. You're going to commit to it. I think that whatever is going on here, if this is like, let's say, that promotion or that position at work that's finally open and you're going to launch yourself into it, it's going to require a commitment. And you're somebody that doesn't break their word. You don't break promises. Okay. I feel like this is, you're inspired by a sense of purpose here. And when we have that sense of purpose, we're willing to go through the fire in order to fulfill that purpose. We're motivated by having a purpose. We're stimulated. Our energy rises to the occasion. So I feel that this is a consistency. This isn't just a flash in the pan. This fire, this rocket launch to the top of the world, is something that's going to require a commitment from you. There's an L-named person in your life, maybe part of this too. But this is, I don't know, maybe you're going to be asked to sign a contract. Maybe this is like, okay, this, you know, if you're going to do this, we want you to stay for at least a year, you know. So I feel like this is kind of a long-term thing, a long-term commitment for you, whether it's work or school or family, friends, or something like that. It's kind of it's more of a long-term commitment. And I think it's going to be challenging. Yeah, it's going to require your resilience. It's going to require your strength. Okay. Now, we have to kind of end there, except we have the air energy here. We got that 8 of Swords in the position of what we do not want. And this is kind of like saying we've got to keep our mind calmed down. The mind here is prone to a Jupiter and Gemini sort of thing. Jupiter and Gemini is expansive thought. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes we're making connections where we never connected things before. Our mind is like building this whole network, this whole map of connections. Sometimes that's good, right? And maybe after the fact, this is kind of what we want, in a way. This is kind of the fear, the worry, and the concern, though, is that too much of this is going to lead to inaction. We especially don't want this now, because right now we want to not hesitate. We don't want to think. We want to act. Once we make the commitment, once things are sort of locked in place, and we're doing that fire to earth, you know, creative work, maybe then we can have a little bit of the 8 of Swords. You can do the brainstorming, the mind mapping. You can make the connections all over the place. You can have this big network, this big web of thoughts, right, and ideas, you know, like the big brainstorm, but not now, after it's locked in. Okay? Because too much of this leads to inaction. This is the analysis paralysis. Jupiter and Gemini, right? Thoughts creating more thoughts, creating more thoughts. I get an idea. Suddenly, I have 18 ideas that connect with it. And each of those 18 ideas have 18 more ideas that connect with it. And pretty soon we have this whole interconnected web of ideas. And that could be very, very productive for you, right? It's kind of, it's showing your intelligence and your attention to detail and your ability to make connections. But these have to be translated then into actions. We have to be able to implement those kinds of ideas. We have to somehow formulate them into something meaningful. It's one thing to just have a web of ideas and interconnected things, but then what do you do with it? You know, where do we go from there? It's kind of, you show your boss, you say, okay, that's great. What is it? You know, and maybe the 5 of Swords here at the end is that we're going to be simplifying it. It's one thing to analyze something for days and weeks and months, right? We have this big web of connections. You have binders full of papers and ideas and all these research, all this data. But at the end of the day, it's like, what is the data saying to you? What is the data? What does it mean? What is it leading to? What are the conclusions? How is that, all that data, all that thought, and all the analysis leading to some kind of a choice, some kind of an answer to a question? Okay, so let's be careful. I feel like you're kind of a classic overthinker. And the thinking is very productive and very, very powerful. We've got to be in control of that power, otherwise it's going to totally paralyze us. Okay, so let's make sure that what we're putting together is going to be coherent and that it's leading us to kind of answer a question, because at the end of the day, we're going to look at all that data and we're going to say, okay, what does it mean? It's like you show all this research to your boss and they would say like, okay, but what is it? Or like, can you kind of distill it down to like one sentence for me or something? Like, what question were you asking and how did it answer the question? And that's what we're going to need. I think this is also the hindsight, excuse me. This is also us kind of looking back retrospectively at our situation now and realizing, kind of doing the debriefing. Again, it's after that really wild and crazy baseball game. You sit around with your friends over ice cream and you just kind of, you talk about everybody's experience. We kind of share how we experienced that ball game, So I think that's going to be, that's a conversation that we're going to be having. And even if just with ourselves, where we're just kind of like, whoa, like things settle down. We're like, whoa, like what was that? And we can start to find meaning and stuff in that. We can start to kind of understand like everything that happened, and we can just sort of piece it together. And so just to satisfy our own curiosity about it, really. But right now, I think discipline is the key to your freedom. And I think that's what we've got in these cards here. And this is coming really soon, okay? It's time to claim that crown. Let's look at the mystery card. What do we have over here? I want some good water energy. I want to see that 10 of Cups. I want to see that satisfied, whole, beautiful dream come true picture. Maybe a 6 of Cups, but 10 would be pretty great. Did you have a scary experience in a cave or something like this? I feel like you were in some kind of a dark place, like a cave or a cavern or something, and like you kind of freaked out or something. Maybe it's one of those cave tours where they turn off the lights and it's pitch black. Oh, those are freaky. I like them. I feel like you had an experience like that. Spirit's referencing that for you for some reason. Okay. Mystery card. 2 of Swords. Well, that's just it. When this door opens, when you're in the bathtub and the knock comes at the door, what do you do? What do you do, right? Do we spring to action? Do we follow this instinct, this intuition here at the top of the card, the little crescent moon at the top? Or do we sit there and think, well, if I answer the door, it means I got to get out of the bath and blah, blah, blah. If I don't answer the door, are they going to keep knocking or are they going to go away? Is it a salesperson? Who's knocking at my door? And before we know it, the opportunity is gone, right? This card is about a choice, and it all comes down to the choice. When opportunity knocks, do we answer or do we hesitate? I feel like you answer, right? But I think we need to ask ourselves this question before anything else. What happens when opportunity knocks? Am I going to spring into action and jump up wide awake and alive like a rocket ship? Yeah, that's what I want to do. And that's what I'm going to be prepared for. So it's like even in the hot bath, we still have that quick reaction time. You hear the knock at the door, boom, you're out of the bath and you're at the, be careful, floor is slippery, but you're charging into action because this is what it's all about right now. This is the energy that's going to be required of you. Okay. So I think this is a pretty good confirmation card. It does say that we have to follow this gut, follow this instinct, not overthink it. It's not something that we're weighing the pros and cons. No, when the time comes, we either act or we do not act. You either do or do not. There is no in between, So I like this one. We're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Sagittarius Wednesday and Sunday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you want to watch the extended readings at the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com. You can also find me on Patreon. Check out my wife's channel, Ula Tea Leaf Readings, if you haven't yet. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. These readings are totally free. They don't cost you anything. Okay. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.